to Telling Tales Theater Young Adults Readers Theater performance of the Isolation Diaries. The stories you're about to hear explore the themes of loneliness and social isolation. Loneliness is a subjective experience. It's what you feel on the inside, whereas isolation, it's objective. It's about your community, your support, your networks, the things there for you on the outside. You see, the current stay-at-home order has made it really hard to stay connected and be a community. And so that's why we hope that within this next half hour, that you can join us and be part of our community and share our experiences. So thank you. And now for the Isolation Diaries, episode 1.
Isolation.
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 Isolation is like being
Gray in a sea of color.
Top of a mountain, everyone's far down below.
A flute with no sound.
a butterfly flying over a desert island.
When I'm isolated,
When I'm isolated, I
get hung up on things that don't matter.
Being isolated makes me feel
Like I'm drowning with no way to come up for air.
like I'm drowning with no way to come up for air. My name is Jack Gehringer, and my piece is called Isolation. 2020 candidate for the Democratic Party's nomination for president, Andrew Yang, once said, "Overnight successes are generally years in the making, and most progress is made in isolation far from the public eye." COVID-19 has created an isolation like I have never felt before. There are two ways you can take isolation. You can freak out, which can cause more harm than good, or you can use the time to reassess every decision you have ever made in your entire life, which can admittedly can make you freak out unless you're ready to confront the consequences of taking such an action. There are many examples of this. You could decide to give yourself bangs or shave your entire head, both of which I would strongly recommend that you avoid at all costs. We have all seen the videos on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and the like. It never ends well. You could learn a new skill or dust off an old one. I personally started playing my guitar again. That is one skill I've not completely lost due to lack of practice. Honestly, that's one skill of which I only really scratched the surface. However, I hope to improve upon it during quarantine and beyond. The point is, isolation has taught me a few lessons. For one, you can look at it from two different angles. You could feel like your time is freed up, or you could feel the existential dread of too much time on your hands. For me, I ping pong between the two. When I'm busy, I'm fine. It's when I have time to do things that I start thinking about the things I have to do. I miss going out on walks outside because it's a nice day. Yes, I'm aware that it's still permitted. However, I am not walking out of my front door until Mary Lori Lightfoot, Governor J.B. Pritzker, or especially Governor Andrew Cuomo tells me about whether or not it is safe to resume my normal life. I miss going to church. However, there still have virtual services via Zoom broadcast on YouTube. I miss going out to movie theaters. I miss going out to restaurants. I miss my Thursday nights alone with my dad, guys' night. Sure, we could sequester ourselves in a different room and in the house and order food for ourselves, but that doesn't sound like something that is practical when the three of us, me, my mom, and my dad, are compassionately distancing together. Life during a novel pandemic is stressful and scary. If left too long in isolation / compassionate distancing, one begins to experience what Walter Bradford Cannon called the fight or flight response, which, since you can't run away from the virus, is utterly terrifying. There is no universally accepted treatment, there is no cure, and as of right now, there's no vaccine. Then fight. This means handling what you can head on. Resist that urge to cut or dye your hair yourself for the first time, or don't. Teach yourself a new skill, or don't. Definitely learn that second language. Americans as a people are sorely lacking in that department. It might have something to do with our unearned arrogance. All I'm saying is do what makes quarantine more bearable as long as you don't do anything to intentionally harm other people or yourself. If you haven't had the time to assess things going on in your life, then now's the time. I'm thinking, learn German? We will see, or more appropriately, wir werden sehen.
I feel like I'm getting a shot. The dread of pain I know is coming but can't prevent.
I hear a hollow echo or quiet foghorn that keeps getting louder until you can't bear the sound.
A musty odor fills the room. It's not a clear, crisp smell. It's more like a stuffy and moldy smell.
My name is Saleem Ross, and my story is called 4th grade. When 4th grade started, I didn't have very many friends. See, to most people this isn't a problem. In fact, they like being by themselves. But I can't handle it. It's always been a problem for me since I was young. I don't know why. So when my only friend at the time went to a different school called King's Lab, I was like, well, I need to make some more friends. So I told myself I would do anything I could to make more friends. So here's a list of some stuff that I did. I would lie to make myself seem cooler. I'd pretend to do stuff other kids do, and then spread rumors about anyone who might see through my lies or who might pose a threat to me because, well, then I wouldn't have any friends. So yeah, that's what I did. And like I said, I would do anything I could to make myself seem cooler, except to hurt someone physically. Here's some examples of what I did. If someone had gone to see a movie in 3D, then I would have gone to see it too. Or if someone went on a vacation in somewhere exquisite, let's say Hawaii, then I would have gone there too. And if anyone had asked questions about what was there or what was it about or a specific part, I would look it up on the school computers and then I would give them the answers, and it worked. I never once got caught. I couldn't believe my luck. And at the end of the week, I had no fewer than 7 friends. I was so happy. And even though they weren't my real friends, it really helped a lot. One day in summer, one of my fake friends who was a little bit older than me and myself, we were talking about which girls we like, as kids do, because what else are you going to do? So he was talking about how there was this girl he liked in 8th grade and how I said I didn't like anyone except his sister who was in 4th grade along with me. And so after that, he punched me so hard that all I could see was black and my ears were ringing. And after I could finally see and hear again, he was laughing and saying something along the lines of, "Don't mess with me, little kid. This is what I do to people who make me angry." So what do? I stand up, brush myself off, smack him as hard as I can and call him the B word. Because, again, what else do you do in that situation? Like, I'm not going to run off and tell a teacher. Anyway, we both had to skip recess for that. And so I got off with a warning, but he got 3-day suspension for punching a student 3 years younger than him. But after that, he got ugly and started spreading rumors about me, and I lost all of my fake friends, except for my real one, who I mentioned at the beginning of this, who had transferred from his school because he was having problems there too. And so after that, I slowly but surely learned not to lie to make friends, because people I want to be my friends can't accept me for who I am, they can shove their head up their... Well, let's just put it this way. Podex perfectus est. Latin for screw you and the horse you rode on. Anyway, I haven't done anything like that since 4th grade, almost 4.5 years ago now. And I hope I never have to again, because as I learned the hard way, it can lead to trouble. And I also learned I don't have to do things alone. Well, unless I have to do things alone. But that's different. Right? And next up is my sister Anja.
Hi, my name is Anja Ross, and the story that I'm telling today is called The Swollen Cheek. I was 5 years old, and it was my birthday party. I didn't feel so good, so I decided to take a nap. But when I woke up 30 minutes had passed, so I got up and went to my party. But that night, I woke up in the car with my mom, and she said I needed to go to the ER. But when we got there, the check-in lady was too busy taking care of a man who had food poisoning. My mom got tired of waiting and waved her hand to the check-in lady, and she checked us in. The next day, my mom and dad said I should stay in bed because I had a swollen cheek. I was lonely in my bed watching my brother and sister play. I felt isolated. I wanted to play, but I was too sick. So I just lay in my bed. A week later, I was playing better than ever, and I felt like nothing happened. But to this day, I still feel the same loneliness and isolation.
I can hear the wind blowing across a vacant field. It's a sound that's empty and emotionless.
It is like a tremendous weight holding me down that I can't remove.
The taste of paper lingers in my mouth.
Hi, my name is Mary, and my story is Raining on the Inside. Imagine you're going into a crowded room, and there is a big, crazy, loud party going on. It is densely packed, and it happens to be raining that afternoon, so you bought your umbrella. But when you get to the entrance, the darn thing won't close. Looks like you need to squeeze yourself through. As you are, people move out of the way. Well, who would want to get poked in the eye? Not me. Now, take loneliness. I know it's strange to talk about times stupid umbrellas won't close, and then loneliness. But the umbrella is the thing that's causing the wall, leading to isolation. Let's say the barrier or umbrella is shyness. You have no desire to talk to anyone. You avoid people. Avoiding people is your comfort zone, and you can't exactly get out. And that's where my story begins. There was a bright, happy, go-lucky girl. She was 5 years old, and she was going to kindergarten at Lakeview Elementary. She was excited, but also a little nervous. She was a little shy around other kids her age. Okay, even if she was shy, she would still say hello, but she normally wanted the other person to say it first. But she was amazed by the new settings and wanted to explore. She walked into the colorful, cheerful, friendly classroom and froze. Other kids her age were playing cheerfully and peacefully. Some were doodling, others playing board games, talking among themselves, and doing things typical friends would do. She wanted to be a part of it all, but something held her back. Shyness and doubt. Later in the year, she still did not make any new friends. No one invited her over, and they acted like she was nothing. The only person who wanted to be her friend was her twin, Samantha. She loved her twin dearly and always felt more confident around her. But that's short-lived. In first grade, she and her twin got separated into 2 different rooms. The young girl was scared and unsure. The teacher was nice, but she was not too sure about the other children. She did make a few new friends, but realized they were only fake and wanted to take advantage of her. They were friendly at first, but then they became bitter and crude. And they tattled on her when she would doodle in class and would call her a baby. She became more scared and less happy and hopeful. She would still skip down the halls, but she was hurting inside. When second grade rolled around, she still had the same teacher, and she trusted her teacher a lot. But the kids would still take advantage of her. At recess, she normally played alone, but there were times when she was with the other kids who acted like her friends. One day, she was just on the swing, minding her own business when her quote-unquote friends told her to get off because she was a baby. She reluctantly listened, got off, and ran away. She was a bit of a pushover, and her mom told her to stand up for herself. She wanted to, but found herself running away weeping like a slightly bigger baby. Her year in third grade is what she thought to be the unhappiest year of her life. She became cold and bitter, and she seemed tougher than she was back then, but didn't feel good. People still ignored her, and she felt empty, and she turned emotionless. To make things worse, she had a new teacher. She was more cold and distant, and so were the kids. So she acted distant and started to not mind being alone. Fewer people took advantage of her, but there were times she was tired of fake friends and felt broken. She felt left on the ground, and no one cared. The summer before fourth grade, her parents announced she was going to a new school. After her experience, she did not want to go. She thought, if I stay at Lakeview and avoid people, I'll be okay. She thought she would just get ignored and people would still take advantage of her. The school was smaller and had a better reputation than Lakeview. Her parents told her that it was going to be okay, but she wanted to believe them. But at this point, she did not want to trust others. Time for more hell, she thought as she approached her new school, Ann Fox Elementary. She stood in line with the other kids, waiting for school to start. She saw so many strange new faces. She thought all those faces would automatically hate her. She wanted to stay away from them all to be avoided of being picked on. And the girl in front of her turned around. She waited for a cruel, nasty comment, but instead she said, "Hello, I'm Michaela." She was shocked. No one was that nice to her. They talked and got to know one another, and she and Michaela started to warm up to one another. And the shy young girl found herself becoming a little more like her old self. And she saw how nice of a person she was, and likable as well. And she never noticed that about herself before. School started, and everyone in her class was excited to meet the new students. Everyone in her class was so welcoming and loving. It was hard to believe. She felt like at last she was found, proud to be her own person, and felt for once finally happy.
The smell permeates the room. It reminds me of food gone bad, lost and forgotten in the back of the refrigerator.
The taste of stale popcorn lingers in my mouth. It has no flavor.
I hear the strum of my electric guitar for the first time since high school. It echoes off the empty walls.
My name is Molly Wiesman, and this is called A Letter to Miles. Dear Miles, you are my nephew, and I've only seen you a 4 times since you were born in January. You, being so little, will not be very conscious of the fact that your dad had heart surgery to repair abdominal aortic aneurysm a month before you were born. Your dad had heart surgery on December 2nd, and after that, it felt like things were going to be okay. I couldn't imagine or foresee what the next major crisis of our lives would be, and I never imagined a global pandemic would be it. My times have changed in such a short time. Now with the pandemic and quarantine, everyone's lives, it seems, have turned into Zoom calls with the people closest to them. Our Sunday night family dinners with everyone have fallen by the wayside. Gone to our Saturday nights I would spend with your cousins at your house watching movies or watching a play in the backyard at times I feel like this when the weather is nice. Everyone is on masks, which of course I understand is a necessary safety precaution. But you don't anticipate when your best friend drops by wearing a mask with your favorite drink from the local coffee shop. But you're not going to recognize her. Even the lions at the Art Institute are wearing masks. And speaking of lions, one of the only benefits of this quarantine and having so many public places closed is that your Aunt Marissa and Uncle Bob can no longer drop me into trips to the zoo, which Leo has loved to go to since she was a baby. Leo now has to wait to go to the zoo. Aunt Molly is dreading the day it opens again. When you get to be 5 or 6, you'll start to want to go over to your friends' houses to play, and absent a global pandemic, you'll be able to. But sometimes you might not be able to for some reason, and this will be the hardest part. Kids often go to each other's houses to play, but adults have their playtimes in bars and coffee shops, all of which are closed now. It's important to not have a tantrum when you don't get what you want. Again, like with your dad's heart surgery, sometimes all you can do is wait. I guess in the words of Charles Dickens, it was the best of times and the worst of times. Sometimes I have to wait after I get up to watch Andrew Cuomo's daily press conference, or I have to wait until I have found it online if I slept in too late and missed it. But again, it's worth the wait for someone to tell me what's going on, even if it isn't, but should be our presidents. When I think back on your dad's heart surgery, and the 2 months of the time we found out he needed it until he had it, it was agonizing not knowing the outcome. I remember everyone being called in their tiny room after having to wait all day to find out how the surgery went. We all really felt like we were in that waiting room forever. And then the surgeon came in the room and told us he was fine. On days now when I get anxious about things, I tell myself that everything will work itself out. I will be forced to go back to the zoo in no time, and happy afternoons in coffee shops with friends, and celebrate a holiday with our family. I'm not sure what Andrew Cuomo though. When the pandemic comes a thing of the past, maybe he can do a daily press conference about everything else that's going on. Love, Molly.
All I'm saying is do what makes quarantine more bearable. As long as you don't do anything to intentionally harm other people or yourself. We will see. Or more appropriately, wir werden sehen.
Slowly but surely, I learned to make real friends without lying to make sure that my friends can accept me for who I am.
I felt like nothing happened, but to this day, I still feel the same loneliness and isolation as when I was 5.
Let's say the obstacle is shyness. You have no desire to talk to anyone, and you avoid people. Avoiding people is your comfort zone. And you can't get out.
What Roy brought me just you to this little smile, proving that not even social distancing and lockdowns can separate us.
You are not alone.
Well, you are not alone.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
You are not alone. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. Talent Council exists to create a bridge between children and adults with disabilities and those without disabilities who will nurture and innovative performances of people's personal stories. We provide these programs for free. For us to continue our work, we need your help. If you enjoyed today's episode of Isolation Diaries, please consider giving us a donation. You can do this by going to our webpage at talentfills.org and clicking on the donate button.